Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Okay, good. Grace is here. Ready to get going? Okay. Meeting called to order at 7:01. So, everybody state their name. Well, yeah, state your name. Lee Wessler here.
Jean Pillow here.
Jordan Stern here.
Crystal Adams here.
Beth Bernard here.
Pam? You there? Pam and Grace.
Grace is muted.
Okay, Pam's here.
I got an email from Lori. She will not be joining us.
Yeah, I saw it too.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't see any alternates to seat. Anyone have a chance to read the minutes, and anyone want to make a motion to approve them? Jean,
I read the minutes. I wasn't at the meeting, but they need to be corrected.
okay,
Unless, did you read my report? I gave you a written report about the DRC while I was away. I emailed it to you.
yes.
Did you read that into the minutes?
Who walked it with Pam? Was Pam there with you?
Yes,
Yeah, I think she talked about it.
because what the minutes say and what my report was are not consistent. So I don't know what was reported. I did not watch the recording.
Okay, what do you have to change about it?
Well, it says, man, let me get to the meeting minutes. It says in the minutes, it says DRC report was noted there was concerns about Center Cemetery Road problems, and it was brought up that there were issues on Taylor Road, but Conservation Commission was not contacted in either of those issues as of yet. But not only did Pam and I meet to talk about the situation on Center Cemetery Road, but we sent you and Grace a copy of that report. So it kind of looks very
Yeah, you're right.
inconsistent that the
Yeah,
meeting minutes say something that was very different from what actually occurred.
okay,
So-
Grace, can you fix that? Because you got a copy of what Jean wrote for
No,
the
I
DRC.
sent it to you because of what Crystal said about sending out group emails. So I only sent it to you.
Oh, so Grace didn't get a copy.
I
Okay.
just put it in the chat. So what I sent to you is now in the chat, so it could be used to correct the minutes.
Okay. Okay, so with that noted, any other discussion? Okay, is there a motion to approve the minutes then?
As amended.
Yeah.
I wasn't at the meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't have to be at a meeting to approve it or to vote on it.
Well, I make a motion to approve the meeting as the minutes as amended.
I'll second it.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Okay, that passes. And moving on to public participation, I see a Ray Morgan. Do you have anything to bring forth to the committee? Or any questions?
Ray, you're on mute.
Ray, if you're talking, you're on mute. Hey, I guess Ray doesn't. Ray's just watching us. Treasurer's report, Grace.
It's actually the same as it was last month because Diane has not been in the office. I did not get an updated.
Share content. Mute.
Okay, Ray's back. Ray,
Oh,
miss,
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. You can hear me?
we can hear you now.
Hey, yeah, no, I don't have any public comment at this time. I'm just trying to pay attention. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. Okay, so great, nothing new from Grace. Anyone have any questions for Grace? Okay, moving on, share, oh, I'm sorry, Beth.
Yeah, just quick, Grace, did you get the receipts I mailed?
I did, and I brought them in, but as I said, Diane was out all last week. So
Okay,
it didn't.
no worries. Just
But-
want to make sure you got them.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, chairman's report, nothing to report. Any communications?
No, just some, a bunch of other letters that weren't addressed properly to the people.
Okay. Okay, old business. So do you want to DRC, Gene? Do you know the update on the road?
Well, I do not know what they finally decided. I did see Jeff Gordon post something on Facebook about how they have these, decision-making processes, but he never said what the outcome was, and I didn't follow up.
Yeah, so from what I understand, it just so happens, one of my patients has land on both sides and was at the last P and Z meeting, and the minutes indicate they're putting off a decision, and I think there's another public meeting on the issue. But it sounds like I think he's a forester, but what he brought to the P and Z was, what you commented on, Gene. So they're probably, if it's going to go through, it's going to be with the recommendations, it sounds like.
I'd be very interested to follow this, but again, I haven't been able to check the PZZ minutes as they come out every
Yeah,
time.
that was the last, but it was funny because I saw him and he said, "Are you on the Conservation Commission?" Yeah, well, do you know about the roads, Center Cemetery Road? And we started talking, and he went to the last meeting and it was postponed, the decision. But his thoughts were your thoughts, so it's nice to know we could support doing it right.
Thank you for that feedback.
Okay, Crystal, anything on open space?
Yeah, at the open space meeting, which was last Thursday, we discussed the proposal for the land ordinance that I'll bring up as new business when we get to that point in the meeting. I had emailed you on November 10th and November 20th with copies of the land ordinance. I don't know if you ever got them.
Yeah, but we had a meeting since then.
Right, but it wasn't brought up. It wasn't on the agenda. So I emailed again, and so that I'd like to put it on the agenda as new business. I emailed you the other day and asked if it could be on the agenda.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Okay.
Or if it may have went to spam. I get like 300 emails a day, so.
That's
But
what
no,
figured. Yeah, because
I-
I know I've emailed at least twice to you. I know on the 10th and on the 20th, and on Tuesday, last Tuesday, the 6th. Can this be added to the agenda of our December meeting? So I didn't know if we could discuss it under new business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Must be getting bumped.
Yeah.
Okay, so P and Z is what I just told you. Grace, anything Ag Commission?
Oh, nothing that would impact us at all.
Okay. Stewardship, okay, that's the wrong time of year for stewardship. Anything on pollinator pathway, Jean?
I'll be talking about pollinator pathways at a regional conservation partnership coordinators meeting on Friday.
Okay, any questions for Jean?
Ara is joining us
Okay, good.
and Pam.
Oh,
Yeah, well, Pam was here. Pam's been here all
She
along.
must have lost the connection because she just asked to join again.
Okay. Anything sustainable Connecticut, Crystal?
No.
Okay, and anything, well, Lori's not here. Anyone know anything about the Eversource? Any update? Well, actually, oh, Jean, you were at the meeting on the bad day.
Beth did a great presentation.
she absolutely did. It was Crystal, Beth, and myself at the meeting, and Jay Swan
Mhm.
and
Ray.
Ray was there, and Sue Kimball, who lives on 171 in the affected area. And the irony of the whole thing was the night of the meeting to talk about excessive tree trimming on Route 171 because of potential power failures. A tree branch fell on the power lines and knocked out power to 470 people who live on Route 171 or in the vicinity. So the meeting, it was a bad night to be out. So a lot of people, probably with the power outage, the bad driving conditions, missed the meeting. Others afterwards said they never heard about this before. So we were asked by Jay to repeat it.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
sounds like
I
a good idea.
I think we had discussed doing it as a Zoom only, repeating it and doing it Zoom only as an option to have greater participation. And that's something, you know, when you guys want to set a date, I'm happy to set that up and host it. Also, the Eversource was going to be there. They were planning to attend, but they had emailed me that afternoon that due to the storm and that they were going to have to be busy taking care of that instead.
Okay, well, we probably should wait till after the holidays, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But if we set something up now,
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Yeah, so any,
Also, I think we should advertise it, you know, like it was on Facebook and it was, I think letters went out to the abutters, but other than that, I mean, I think an ad after the holidays with a date, you know, but an ad in the shopper's guide or something.
Or
Like-
Lee, you can write one of your opinion pieces to the Villager because that's a place where people get information. And I mean, with putting an ad, I'm not sure if getting people who are not in the target area I mean, I'd love to get everybody in town to say, don't do this. But at the same time, the people we need to reach are the people who live in the target area. Because they're the ones that have the ability to say no to Eversource. Don't cut that tree.
Right, I understand that's why we did the targeted letters, but nobody else knew about it. And I think it does affect, I mean, and yeah, it's the people who live in the targeted areas that have that ability to say no, but it does indirectly impact everyone who lives in Woodstock, drives those roads and loves
Mhm.
you, for them to stand together and say, no, we don't, you know, this isn't something that we want as a community. Yeah, and I think we need to get that community buy-in as
So-
well as the independent, you know, people, you know, it is their say, it's their land, but there's community impacted also.
Well, what is the
Right.
cost of
I-
advertising in the Villager and the Shopper's Guide?
I would say do a letter in the Villager. The Villager advertising, I think, is pretty expensive.
It is.
The Shopper's Guide is a lot more reasonable. I think you can do a quarter page and we wouldn't even need that, you know, we could just do something smaller. I think it's like $60 or something. You'd have to send something out to them and communicate with them, but they're much more reasonable.
Is it Lori that does the website now?
I do the website. Who's Lori?
I'm talking about the Conservation Commission website, Lori Barefoot.
I don't
You
know.
took it over from Ruby? Or you actually, you have all the documents you on the town website?
I have things on the town website. Yeah, I'm not sure what documents you're speaking about, but yeah. I
Well,
do.
the letter that we got, the whole project description from Eversource, the PowerPoint Eversource gave, not Pam's, Beth's PowerPoint, can those get put up on the town website so we can hyperlink to them or
Right.
to the page where they're located?
Yeah.
Because that way we can get a lot more information in an ad.
We do have, we did put up if you go to the town website, go to Conservation Commission, November 30th public event. We do have that, and I can definitely put up the PowerPoint. Just send them to me. Beth?
So Crystal, any idea how to inform people more effectively than we did the last time?
Well, like I said, I think a small ad, I think a letter in the Villager. I think we could, put what we already know and what we already have on the town website and Facebook.
What do you mean, a letter in the Villager just saying we're,
Just a letter to the editor like you do all the time.
no, but that's an opinion piece. This is just informing people
Well,
of
yeah,
the
but-
time
but-
and date.
But
Your
you can have an opinion.
I don't I don't have, I don't have an opinion yet.
The Conservation Commission has an opinion, and that's what we would write it as.
Right, so if we put together a piece saying that we want people in town to understand the long-term impacts, whatever, and just write it up of the similar to what we put in the letters to the individual homeowners, but address it to the entire town and
And
put
this
it-
doesn't have to be like right away. I mean, I think because of FOI, we can't like take a document and share it back and forth as a group and edit it and come to a consensus. Like that's why, you'd have to kind of do that as a group. So we might want to do that, at a meeting, whether in person or Zoom, and just in a meeting together as a group, like let's put together.
why not now?
ad.
I left a different meeting to be here, so Beth, do you have the copy of the letter? Can you share it on the screen?
Sure. Yeah, it was sent out to everyone before it was sent, and I didn't get any. Well, Jean, I got feedback from you, but I'd be happy to share it. Hold on.
Yeah, I have it. I see it in
Oh, if you can
the
find it,
Dear Neighbor.
then that's great, if you can find it first.
Is it the final edition of the letter or whatever?
No,
feed-
but how do I share this?
Share screen.
Move your
May not be the final
cursor.
edition, actually.
Well, I'm on my iPad.
Oh, let me just share it then. I think it'll be easier. Because I have the final edition as well. If I could find it, please hold. Lee, the other thing I'm happy to write a personal letter as I live on the strip, one of the areas that would be cut. So, and I certainly have an opinion as Beth Bernard, but I'm happy to write a letter as Beth Bernard or representing the Conservation Commission.
And Beth, I do see that you had sent the PowerPoint on the 2nd of December, and I did not
Yeah.
put that on the website, but I do have it.
Beth, did you also send it to me? Because I don't remember getting it. I did keep checking.
I think I did, but I can forward it to you as well.
I'll check my.
Yeah,
junk.
you're on the the list there, Gene, so you got it.
It must be in my junk mail then, because I looked for it, because I want to pull it apart and put pictures up. Keep, like Sue Kimball did after the meeting, she put up a picture of one of the already cut sites in another town. And
Hmm,
people all of a sudden, that's what they need to see.
mhm. Yeah, definitely.
Well, if we write it on behest of the Conservation Commission, we have to also include the benefits. Because it's the whole reason for the meeting is to just, especially if Eversource is going to be there, is to give them both sides of the issue. But if Beth, you want to write as Beth and just let them know your opinion and that the meeting's coming up, that we can do that too.
Okay, I'll do that. I mean, the benefit,
Okay.
I think the benefits could easily be stated by Eversource, if and it's a little easier seen, right? The potential benefits, but so can everyone see the letter?
It's really small. Can you
Okay, let me
make it,
see.
make it
I-
like screen width?
Yep. How's that?
It's better. Oh, much better. During the talking part of the meeting, we did state that if you live in this target area and you have a diseased or dying tree or hazard tree, by all means, let Eversource take it down and save you the considerable expense. But if you have a healthy tree and it shades your home, you don't have to say yes to them. So that was the point we kept saying, that we're not against tree trimming, but we are against clear cutting for a lot of reasons. And so that was brought up.
Okay, so we have, Bethel put a letter in with the date. Anyone have a date to propose in January, to do the Zoom meeting?
Look at the town calendar to make sure we're not interfering with other meetings. There are a few other people that use Zoom. And so I couldn't host this on the same night as and they're meeting via Zoom. Arboretum is this month. I don't know about next month. Do we want to do it on our regular meeting night?
No,
Okay.
because there wouldn't be time for everything.
Okay, good. Yeah, I feel like we don't want to rush into this.
We never did confirm where on Route 169 they were targeting. As I discussed in the meeting, that there's no slide in there with a map showing the target area for Route 169. And Crystal confirmed that they hadn't finished the map. But I remember coming out of that meeting with Eversource that there was a targeted area and it was South Woodstock. So,
That's
That's
part
what
of it
Beth's-
too, is that Jay said after the forum on the 30th that if we send him our questions like that, then he will reach out to his contact for us.
right. And that's something we also said we would do at this meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me.
So right now, the Beth's letter says it's Route 169 from the traffic light in South Woodstock southward. But
And
that may
that's
have
what
changed.
that's what I remembered from the presentation, but I might have misunderstood because there was no map and I don't know how I came up with that conclusion, and I have not gone back to look at the recording.
No, they did say it. They just didn't have a map. So the exact ending spot is kind of fuzzy,
Okay,
at least from what they told us. They said, oh, we haven't made the map yet.
Okay, so well, maybe at the meeting, if they're on Zoom, we can ask them, have they come to a more concrete place?
Can you move the letter up so I can read more of it? Thank you.
And then it goes on to say when the time and place for the meeting.
So in this letter, the letter to the editor of the Villager, would we Woodstock, should we be addressing it to all Woodstock residents and especially those
Yeah.
in these target areas? And put that as a heading so that it'll catch people's eyes. You got to get them to read the article.
I can't say I have ever done anything for the Villager. Is there a fee? Do I have to keep?
No,
to
no, no.
amount?
And
For an
no, just,
opinion letter, it's free.
yeah, yeah. And if you want me to just peruse it, I can peruse it.
Okay, sure.
And we can pick our own, I mean, when I write in, they create the heading, but we can make our own heading.
So is it determined that if people did call them and say no, Eversource would not do it? Is that correct?
Right, that's what Eversource told us, that they need permission of the occupant to proceed with the,
Okay.
the cutting.
And we also had a conversation about Wyndham Land Trust because they own a piece of property from East Quasit Road going west on 171. So they own a lot of frontage along Route 171, and the entire project area is in the upland review of the vegetated buffer of Millbrook. And we talked about making contact, but I don't think we decided who was going to call them. I think a bunch of us said, yeah, I can get in touch with them, but I know I didn't. I can.
Yeah, they did get a letter in their main office, but who knows if they saw that. Sorry, who said I can for Wyndham Land Trust?
I said I can because I could just call Andy on the phone and just say, Andy, do you know about this? And if Andy knows about it, then he'll be the one. I mean, he's such an advocate for conservation.
Okay, so we have to pick a date. So do we want it in January? Or you want to wait till February?
I think the longer we delay, the more chances are they're going to get out there and start cutting down trees before anybody knows what's going on.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, we could do like a weeknight Zoom kind of thing.
Yeah, like pick a Wednesday, do a Zoom thing, and hope there's no power outage between now and then.
That
You
could
can't
not
make
have been
that up.
planned.
You can't.
Yeah, but can you imagine if it was a Zoom meeting?
Oh my gosh.
And that may sway people's opinions, so we probably should do it early in the winter, before any big blizzard.
Yeah.
What about Wednesday, the 25th?
I can't, do
No,
that.
Go ahead.
This is Beth, I can't do that date.
the 18th,
I could do the 18th.
Crystal?
I can do the 18th.
Okay. Let's pick everybody, any objections about the 18th?
What do
No,
you
the
think?
18th sounds good.
Nothing sooner.
What time are we thinking?
Well, it depends on other meetings, Jordan, so Crystal's looking at the calendar.
Yeah, I mean, the 11th is open, the 18th is open. I don't want to do the 4th. That's too close to
Yeah.
people traveling and a lot going on.
Jordan, you think we should do it the 11th?
I think the 11th is better here, sooner the better.
Okay, anyone have objections to the 11th then?
Wait. I'd rather do it the 18th. the 12th is the open space meeting, and,
Okay.
I'd like to be able to tell them about it in person. I spoke
Yeah.
about it last week,
Okay,
but yeah. And then we could send something to other board and commissions, like if you want to, like planning and zoning meets the 5th, and inland wetlands meets the 9th of January. Their Zoom, but I mean, that might be a good board or commission to reach out to and let them know about this.
hey,
I agree.
yeah, is that okay, Jordan?
Yeah, I agree. That sounds good. Yeah.
So, the 18th it is.
I
Beth
put
will
it in my
compose-
calendar for 7 o'clock. It's gonna be a Zoom format, which is great because we don't have to have a snow date.
Unless there's power outage.
Set up-
And
I'll
Stop
Crystal,
it.
you,
for it
Crystal,
tomorrow.
you host the meeting, right,
I'll
Crystal?
Yeah, I'll set up the link for it tomorrow.
Okay.
And when I-
Um,
Find the PowerPoint, I'll pull it apart and I'll start putting the pictures out on a more routine basis, saying, okay, we had a power outage, but this will last for 100 years. To get more people to be aware of the issues.
okay, any other questions or discussion on the issue?
I will,
Pam? I'm sorry, I was just gonna say from the letters or comments that I saw in the mention of it on the Woodstock Proud page, there seem to be quite a few people who think that this will solve, there won't be any power outages if they cut down the trees. I don't think we're getting the message out that the trees knocking down power lines is not the main, according to Eversource, is not the main reason for power outages in Woodstock.
I mean, it's 60% of the reason for power outages in Woodstock, but there's that other 40%.
yeah, I mean, Pam, if you could, so I'm not really on Facebook much or at all, to be honest, but if those of us who do see those can just respond, and feel free to use some of the language in that letter.
Okay,
And then hopefully this forum will help as well. People need to be educated.
yes,
Do you want that letter to go on the conservation page of the website? If so.
That would be great.
No, no,
No or no.
it's a personal, it's a personal opinion
I'm-
letter, but the
No,
date,
No, not that letter, the general letter that went out
Yeah.
to homeowners.
yes,
that-
absolutely.
That letter. Okay,
Yes.
Beth, if you want, if you have that and want to send it to me, I can take care of that.
And
Okay.
if I will send questions to Jay Swan. If you have questions like, I got the one about 169, we need a net map. But any other questions, please, if you could send them to me by Friday, that would be great, and I'll get them to Jay.
Yeah, I guess my question would be about the large tracts of forested land, and how do they notify those property owners of their options to say no?
Yeah,
Yeah, and I actually want to know what it really is the definition of the town right of ways.
Well,
I don't-
there's only the town, that was a discussion too, and Jay seemed to think that the right of way on town roads is 10 feet. But the state roads are different, and that we've talked about that based on our experience when we tried to plant dogwood trees. And it varies from area to area, and DOT was not very clear, could not give us an answer, as you recall, on where we were allowed to plant trees.
So that's what's concerning, because Eversource may use that as an excuse, just say, well, it's not defined, so we're gonna take them, I don't know.
But other towns have stood up to Eversource, right?
And
We wouldn't be
failed.
the first one, and failed.
Yep.
Oh, so there's been no successful opposition to them?
no, they lawyered up and failed. They tried to go to PURA, which is the Public Utility Rates Administration, which was the wrong agency to go to. I think some of them were trying to reach out to their state representatives and senators to see if they would have any impact, because this is being labeled a resiliency project, yet it's opposite of resiliency in many ways. And that was another suggestion that Jay made, was that we make sure that our representatives are aware and maybe show up and listen to the meeting. So we should personally invite Pat Boyd, and I guess it would be Jeff Gordon going forward. And forgive me, I cannot remember the gentleman's name from Safford that is the other representative for
Vale.
Woodstock.
Kurt Vale.
Okay, yeah. They should all be sent an email personally inviting them to attend and listen to this, because this is a concern.
I think
our
you should
town.
invite the Board of Selectmen also.
Yeah,
So Gene, in the other towns, Eversource still had to contact each individual owner to get their permission, right?
yep.
Yes.
And if they said no, it was no.
Well, we had those two women from Reading come visit us.
Yeah.
Richfield, Reading, one of those towns. And they hired a lawyer and they got nowhere in
Right,
making,
but if we get everybody, I mean, if the town is of the opinion they don't want it, we just have to get as many townspeople, on board to say no.
I
if
don't
that's
think
what
it
the
works
town
that
wants.
way.
Yes. No,
I-
I think it would work that way, except for, the right of ways and, like if a tree is directly touching like a transformer, they're allowed to remove it no matter what. But they are legally required to ask for permission. I think part of the issue, at least in my mind, is that their permission asking process is a paper hanger on a doorknob that's only given 10 days. It doesn't take into account, people, maybe people have a vacation home up here, maybe they have, maybe they're sick.
Or their rentals.
Or
It's
their
rental
rentals,
property.
or it's a land trust, so like, that's kind of, at least on my end, that's part of the concern, is we want the word to get out there, but I do believe that they're legally required to ask permission, and after that 10 days, they say, oh, well, if you didn't respond, that means you give your permission. And so that's where it gets a little tricky. In my
Right, so-
mind at least.
So do the letter, we'll, we have to do our best. Again, we want to present our side of the story, but ultimately it's going to be up to the town residents to decide how they want to proceed. But, to get, if we want this done, we got to get as many people there as we can, so they would say no.
So, is anyone willing to reach out to our representatives and to the, first selectmen?
Well, Lee, I think it would make sense if you were the person to reach out to at least the Board of Selectmen and say, look, we're going to try again. This time we're going to do Zoom only. And it would be, we would really appreciate your listening in to the discussion.
Yeah, sure, yeah, just, yeah.
And
Okay.
as far as contacting,
And Jeff, I could, I have his email, I can let him know.
yep, and Pat Boyd, and I've already forgotten his name.
Kurt Vale.
Kurt Vale. Is Kurt a new representative, or he's an established representative that's now just got part of Woodstock? I don't know his
Yeah.
history
Yep.
because I'm still in the 50th. So he must have he must have an email address already.
Yes.
So, and Pat has an email address. So these are people that can be contacted through their email.
Yep. I'm looking for Pat's email right now. Okay, so I'll send a letter to the Board of Selectmen. Okay, I got Pat Boyd's and I have Jeff Gordon's emails. Who's that last guy?
Kurt Vale.
It's Kurt Vale.
Kurt, Kurt?
Yes.
VAIL.
VALE.
I think it's VAIL, but
Oh.
don't quote me on that.
Yep.
Oh, there he is.
Okay. Any other discussion on it?
I just want to mention to Beth, I went through all my different, the junk mail. I went through everything. I cannot find the email. Which email did you send it to?
Oh geez, I don't remember. Should I just send everything out to everybody again? The letter and the PowerPoint? Would anyone else like it?
Yeah, I did see the letter and I think I responded that I thought it was a good letter, but yeah, you could send that and the PowerPoint again.
Sure.
Yeah, I
I'll
think
just
if
send it
those that weren't at the meeting should see the PowerPoint before the meeting and we'll show it again. So,
Please.
Anything else? Okay, so new business, Crystal, can you bring us up to date on that ordinance? So
Yeah,
what are we,
Let me
I
share
just
my-
went, I found your email. I apologize. I thought it was just a governmental thing. I didn't realize it had to do with pertaining to our town and us. So,
So we have an ordinance in the land preservation and acquisition fund. We have a part of the ordinance that talks about the process for the disposition of open space land. Now, when this was put into effect, I believe in 1999, there's another ordinance in our books that was never disbanded. And that was from the 50s, and that is also about the sale of town-owned land. And that ordinance is about 2 sentences long. And basically it says the Board of Selectmen, like any land that or property that the town gets due to foreclosure of tax liens or in lieu of tax liens or abandonment, any land that the town receives that way, the Board of Selectmen can dispose of it however they want. And then we have this section 5 in the open space ordinance that talks about the process for the disposition of open space land. And those two were at odds because the 1950s one was never rescinded. So we sent both to our town attorney, and he sent us one from the town of Weathersfield, I think, that talks about disposal of town property and land. And what we kind of wanted to do was take some aspects from that and add it to this one. So at an upcoming town meeting, we'll vote to amend the open space ordinance, as you can see here on my screen, and to rescind the 1950 ordinance. So basically, the only real change to this is here, where it says that the Board of Selectmen can dispose of at their discretion land if it is less than XX acres. And open space discussed this, and we thought that maybe half an acre would be a good suggestion to send to the Board of Selectmen. And if it's not contiguous to any town-owned land, open space land, or otherwise permanently protected land. And then it sets out the procedure for how the Board of Selectmen would dispose of this land through a traditional bidding process and getting permission at a town meeting. But it also gives the Board of Selectmen some leeway that if they don't like the, it's at their discretion, but also they're not under any obligation to accept any proposals, and they can negotiate to further the best interest of the town. And so on. So this part in blue is kind of the new, what would be added to section 5 of the open space ordinance.
Question.
And I'm gonna type these questions onto my notes, so I'll be taking these questions to an upcoming Board of Selectmen meeting. So
Hey,
Jean, what's the
Jean.
question?
My question is, the Conservation Commission will be consulted if it's more than a half acre of land, if that's the number that's decided. Is the Open Space Land Acquisition and Farmland Preservation Commission also going to be consulted?
Well, this is the open space ordinance, and we discussed this at open space last week, and it talks about Conservation Commission reviewing, and that's not a change. The
Okay.
change is here in blue,
Mm-hmm.
notwithstanding anything as above, that the Board of Selectmen is authorized to dispose of this land if the land consists of less than so many acres, and that's kind of up for what do you think is a good number? So this is not like large parcels of land. This is just like kind of nuisance land, like small pieces that are not really doing anything that, so that's one of the questions, is what is the number that we think that should be if the land is less than so many acres, that the Board of Selectmen would then be able to go through the process to transfer it or sell it.
What was,
Um,
what's the reason that like this is being reviewed now?
A couple of reasons. One of them is we already have it. Part of the open space ordinance says that the land, if you look at number 3C, the land shall not be conveyed to any individual solely to allow the grantee to have enough acreage to subdivide or develop the property. So that is what this open space ordinance says in section 5, the process for the disposition of open space land. However, that is completely at odds with the ordinance that never got rescinded from the 1950s that says the Board of Selectmen can sell off this land any way they want to. I can pull that up real quick so you can see that.
And Crystal,
We
so
have
just,
so we have these two opposing ordinances. One
Right.
says that you've got to, this is the way that we dispose of town-owned land, and these are the rules around it. And then the other one says that the selectmen can do with it however, they can get rid of it however they want to.
and then the difference between a half an acre and a 2 acre property is the 2 acre property has to go through the different commissions, but the half an acre selectman can do it without any advisory input.
Yeah, if it's under a certain amount.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
Okay, so
And that hasn't
that's
been
the big
defined.
difference.
right, so you see that there's an ordinance concerning foreclosed land from 1956, that the Board of Selectmen are authorized to dispose of land acquired by foreclosure of tax liens, blah, 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 that they can do it in their discretion. There's no.
Well-
So this ordinance is at odds with the open space ordinance that goes through the process for the disposition of open space land.
Well,
So
is
what
there
we want-
any advantage to reviewing everything, even if it's a 1/4 acre?
Uh,
I mean, could there be something that we think is valuable, that even though it's half an acre, really is, good to maintain under town, auspices.
For example, I could think of a couple small parcels. I don't know what the actual acreage is, but the town of Woodstock owns a right of way off of Little Pond Road to get into Shepherd's Pond, presumably for access for fire, water source. Although they don't use it, and I don't think it's maintained as a fire access. They just go on to the people's lawn because it's easier. Like I said, I don't know what that acreage is, and it's land that's kind of near protected open space. I can remember one case in my history with the town where a piece of town-owned land was in fact, I think, sold to the abutter. And that's on the corner of Senexit Road and 171, where they that's where they have all those different pavers built into the bank, because they
Yeah.
wanted to show everybody what their products look like. So we have this really tacky looking thing. But I remember the town had that property and gave it to the sold it to the
Yeah.
property owner, and that's what we got as a result.
Right, so that's a question I want taken back
Okay,
is,
so, can you frame the question so I can type this out?
well,
Because
is
we're
it,
having this flow of conversation. I can't type the whole thing. So just like frame it as a question that you want me to bring to the board.
what's the advantage to not having a review of any parcel, regardless of the size?
I don't
If it's-
think, I think you still have to review it.
No. So what's the difference between logistically, if property A is a half an acre and property B is 2 acres, how does the process differ?
I mean, you still have to follow these guidelines. The property has to be assessed.
Yeah, no, I'm asking so logistically, what's different? What's the half acre process as opposed to the 2 acre
I
process?
think
What's the
half-acre
difference?
Process is you don't have to go to a town meeting and pay all the money to notice the town meeting. That if there's a bit of land that's small enough that the board at their discretion could
At their discretion after it's reviewed by the other
yes,
committee?
yes.
Okay.
That's what they're asking.
Okay, so you just to not have to do a full town meeting.
Right, I believe so.
Okay. Gene, any thoughts on that?
We haven't suggested what we think the minimum acreage it should be.
Right, open space suggests a half acre, and that's what I'll take back with me to Board of Selectmen. I haven't heard from P and Z yet.
I think half an acre is fine. And any other discussion, or do we have to vote on it, Crystal? Or can there be a
No,
consensus?
I think just a consensus, or, I think the Board of Selectmen would like, your opinion, our opinion on this, and specifically what that XX acres should be.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we can review everything, I'd say half an acre makes sense. Any other thoughts? Okay, then, you can take that back, to Selectmen, Crystal.
All right, thank you. I will do that.
Right, so, moving on, anyone have the opportunity to go to any workshops in the last 2 weeks, or anyone aware of anything coming up in the next month?
I didn't. This is Jordan.
Jordan?
I did not, I said.
Oh, okay.
If anyone's interested, stewardship wise, Goodwin's offering a chainsaw training class on March 11th.
Okay.
It's a good class. My husband took it. and he was the one that felled the tree closest to the target and won a prize.
And now he's called Captain Hook.
That's what the class is for, hopefully.
I go to
Okay.
a lot of workshops and I'm trying to think if any of them relate to this. No.
Okay, so moving on to open discussion, Gene. We'll start with you.
It's a quiet night in Woodstock and we should all be reflecting on what a special place this is and a remembrance to those that are no longer with us. This is something sponsored by the Judy and Island Foundation. I have my luminaries outside.
Yeah, I see your tree behind you.
I have, well, I have that too, but I have luminaries out in the yard
Yeah.
for
Okay,
the quiet night.
nice. Okay, Maura,
Nope.
Jordan,
Nothing.
Crystal,
Yes, at the open space meeting, somebody asked about an inventory of land that the town owns, and I said I would check with conservation because I thought that we had an inventory or had started an inventory.
yeah,
Yes,
we started it.
actually, that inventory of town-owned land was published by the town years ago, and I don't think it's changed. So I'll see if I can find it and send it to you.
Oh, thank you.
I've been on several different computers since that inventory list came out, so I'll see how successful I am.
Thank you.
Gracie,
Gotten the listing off the town computer in the vault years ago. I mean, I've still got a copy of it. It
All right.
doesn't come up with the exact, we were looking for, the properties that we wanted to look at, but I mean, I definitely got it from, as I say, the town computer in the vault.
Yeah, they had a book of all the different town-owned properties and suggested uses that was put together by the Conservation Commission. That was interesting. Some of that land's been transferred since, I think. Like, for example, the Solaire Campground was once town-owned property. And I don't know, but I think there's limits to how much that land could be developed.
Okay, thank you.
hey, Grace, anything else to add? No. Hey, Beth,
All good.
Pam,
Nothing I can think of. I would just like to say, I'm sorry if there was some confusion. I think I tried to get on the Zoom too early. And all I got was the screen saying, wait, wait, wait. And I finally had to leave and come back on. It wasn't until almost 7:10 that I was able to
oh,
get on.
okay. Okay, no problem. Okay, then all I have is, everybody have a fantastic holiday season, happy.
Stay healthy.
And maybe mention that we need to vote in January, right, for the new,
Correct, and more
So be-
stepping up, I
be
heard.
thinking about, some people have been doing stuff a long time, so maybe people can think about if there's something they want to do, like maybe even the newer people to kind of learn more, like take the minutes or something like that,
Yes.
the thought.
All positions are wide open if anyone's interested.
Also, the town has their giving tree up. We collect items for seniors and veterans in need in Woodstock. We usually do between 60 and 70 people, and the last day to drop off items is Thursday because they're going to be assembled into bags Friday and then delivered next Monday. And if you have any time or ability to drop off anything, even if it's after hours, put it outside the front door and I'll get it the next morning. But items in need shampoo, conditioner, hats, mittens, socks. There's a list on the
Stamps,
site.
shampoo, toothpaste, weren't they all on the list?
They're all on the list, and this year, I'm not sure why, because, you know, we've done the same advertising that we've always done, but it's very bare. Usually by now, the shelves in the conference room are just overflowing, you know, with items, and it's really bare right now. So I'm just trying to get the word out, so.
Okay, thank you, Crystal.
Crystal, I did generate a list of town-owned properties. Who shall I address it to?
Can
You?
you send it to me, please, and I'll bring it to open space?
Yeah, and it might not be the entire list, but I'll look it over, but I took what I had from the inventory that I had worked on.
Thank you.
Oh, you know, I just thought of a question. So for the meeting on the 18th, when I send letters out, how do people sign into it? Do I have to add a link?
Yeah, well, you can either put the link in the letter or you can refer them to the conservation page of the website, but I can also see if I can create a bit.ly for it. Let me play with that tomorrow.
Yeah, because I have the link. I think it's easier for them if the link's included.
Well, the link works really well it works best for an online format. If they're seeing it in the Villager, then they
No,
have-
in the letter I sent to the selectmen and to
Oh,
the
yeah, the link should definitely be in there. And I will
Yes.
create that Zoom meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
Are you sending the letter electronically or are you sending it via snail mail?
No, electronically.
Okay,
I'll email the selectmen and the Jeff and Pat and Kurt.
And maybe also say, you know, you can also join the meeting from the link on the Conservation Commission page of the website. And I can put that on the website page too.
Okay. Anything else for the good of the order?
And do we have another meeting after the 18th then? We have a regular meeting at the last Monday.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
The
the
23rd.
yeah, the 18th is just a special. Oh, so is that the 23rd? That's, yeah, so everybody, so there's 5 Mondays in January?
Yep,
Yeah, so everybody remember we're the 4th Monday.
it's the 23rd.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else for the good of the order?
Did we already vote and send our meeting dates for next year? Did we do that already?
I don't think we vote on it.
Ever voted on it. I always send it out.
But they've been sent. Okay, great.
Okay. Anything else for the good of the order? And if not, is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Crystal
Yeah,
Adams.
Crystal and Jordan. Okay. Then great seeing everybody. Stay warm.
You
Yep.
too, everybody. Happy holidays.
happy
Happy
holidays, stay
Mhm.
safe, stay healthy.
Yeah, see you all next year.
Jane, your microphone is kind of loud, just so
Sorry,
you know.
I bumped it. It was
Well,
into my
everybody
mouth.
else is like sort of quiet, and so I have to keep changing my volume, or else you blast my ears out.
My mic stem got bent.
No offense. Okay,
Chris-
bye.
Crystal, how's your cat?
Perfect. She's
oh,
absolutely,
Perfect.
Catwoman?
she's perfect.
Okay.
Jane Poston.
Jane Poston is perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.